And as you can see from the comment, the individual that was basically the representative hasn't been active in EFL enlightenment for years. And they, to the best of their knowledge at the very least, so I'm parroting what they said, congratulations, I am now TTS, nor has EFL/enlightenment been actively pursuing anything Wayland related in the meantime, to the best of my knowledge. So EFL is problematic. It doesn't mean it's impossible, of course, to use EFL. But they have a lot of work to do on that front. So there's a lot of front work that we would need to do with EFL as well. So that's. But yeah, so that's why I didn't bring up EFL as an alternative to like Qt and GDK at this point, because it's not doing too good, so which sucks.
So what you're saying is there isn't going to be a toolkit swap over to EFL?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's a lot of like front work that would need to be done to facilitate.
I like how support. It's still possibly on the. How many times has Budgie swapped toolkits?
Technically, Budgie hasn't swapped toolkits at all.
Okay.
Because
I want to sure.
Because we haven't written any of the code that we would have swapped over to.
Okay.
In terms of announcements. Oh man. So let me provide some context.
Okay.
So when I don't even remember when the Qt announcement was made, but that was written. I think I published it, but it was more or less written by Ike, not to throw him under the bus because it was a team decision.
2017.
So the decision was made to explore and move to Qt and away from GDK. However, it turned out that at the time, most of us just really didn't like C++, and there really wasn't anything like Rust in terms of bindings Rust hadn't really even popped off by then. So there wasn't really any bindings for it.
Yeah, that was only 2 years into Rust at that point.
Yeah.
I think I was just hearing murmurings about Rust around then.
Yeah. So that wasn't really viable. And there was a lot of early work in like Qt 5 with Qt Wayland. Things have matured obviously a lot since then over the last few years. In terms of Qt, and now we have Qt 6. But then it wasn't ready. So all that was practically shelved as soon as it was announced, which like at that point it's like, oh boy, why do we even bother to announce it? And then Ike leaves, and the rest of us are like, okay, well, we're not the biggest fans of a C++. GDK4 is right around the corner. It should have all this cool stuff, right? Like, look at all these libhandy widgets, right? Surely all of those will actually be in GDK. So it could actually be usable. Like some of these widgets will actually just be upgraded to the handy variants. No, that didn't happen. We got libidweta instead, which is probably not a mystery. I'm not a fan of libidweta, but I'm not a fan of libidweta for the widgets. The widgets are awesome. I just don't like it being forced to use the libidweta style sheet. And I know, technically speaking, you could use a GDK environment variable, or you could, load up a GDK CSS file and overload some of it. But that's not really the same as what we have with GDK3, which is a proper theming support, or at least in my view, proper theming support. The GDK developers would argue differently, of course. So we had made the obvious announcement of like, yo, we should do it in GDK because we use GDK currently. The new GDK4 should be dope when it comes out. It comes out, I write an application with it. It's super buggy because like I don't know if they fixed it since then. I don't think so. But like list boxes, if you had a certain number of children in the list, it would reset your scroll position randomly, which is not ideal if, for example, you're trying to write like an audio player and you're scrolling through artists and suddenly your scroll position's at the top. So and they haven't exactly been very quick to work on that because all of their focus has been on Adwaita. So, but that went out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And also around that time, stuff was happening in terms of accent colors, the proposal to remove theming entirely. Edueda was starting to become a thing. Jeremy getting absolutely blasted. Just in general, a lot of major community and conduct issues, I would say, in GNOME. And I was like, yeah, this isn't something I want to be part of. And like we discussed it internally, and some people were against the idea of C++. So I was like, okay, well, that doesn't really leave me a choice. I guess if we can't use C++ because some people don't like it, then it can't be Qt. So I guess it's just EFL. Like, that's just a process of elimination. I tried out Iced, it just wasn't ready. It's obviously matured since then. Now, fortunately, Budgie is outside of Solus at this point. We have a much more diverse amount of people, and we also like C++. So that puts more things back on the table. We like Rust, so that keeps ICE on the table. It's just unfortunate to see EFL in its current state. So if we go with EFL, which is still the plan, but it will require more work for us. But who knows? What I will say is nobody will know until we make an announcement with something that's actually just immediately usable
That's a
as
good
an
plan.
Alpha.
That's a very good plan.
Because let's be real, I'm tired of making these pre-announcements of switching to things for the ground to fall out underneath me, right? Everybody else is sick of it, and it's a freaking laughing stock. Like, let's be real here. It's like I make jokes about it. Like, even during our stand-ups, I make jokes here. Like, I don't know, 5,000 different toolkits. Who knows? Maybe by the time we do Budgie 11, a new toolkit will be invented. But yeah. So we're just going down the approach of you'll know when you know. And right now our focus is Wayland and Budgie 10. So, and we still have a ton of work to do in terms of in terms of Budgie 11. Like before we even get to the graphical stuff. So, but the nice thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the post I saw about Budgie Desktop moving to Qt, that was from OMG Ubuntu, and the post was from 2017, but someone commented on it 3 years ago saying, I guess they're happy they never did this.
Yeah, it's... I mean, honestly, I wish we just never made any announcements about any of it. That would have been much better, because then I wouldn't have had to make announcements and then, I mean, though, to be fair, I made the mistake of the obvious choice, which is sticking with GTK4. And then regretting that immediately. But yeah, so at this point, it's just no more pre-announcements. We're just gonna write things in our little corner and YOLO.